disgruntled Eagles fan, and we're awesome.
Hey disgruntled, it's been a while since I last posted a video, but this is the free agency update, or at least up to this point. I'm going to keep updating you way more frequently than I have been, and I do apologize for that. But let's jump right into it. Let's do with one of the most recent ones, Jordan Howard, where we just completely stole him from the Chicago Bears. Man, I kind of feel bad for the Chicago Bears right now because we just kind of trolled them for the past year and a half. First you got Jeffrey from them, then they allowed us to go into the playoffs by defeating the Vikings, then double doink, then they gave us Jordan Howard for practically nothing. We just gave up a 6th round pick in the 2020 draft. We basically just handed them over a Snicker bar. This is why Jordan Howard is such a steal. Since he entered the league in 2016, he has the 3rd most rushing yards with 3,300, behind Ezekiel Elliott and Todd Gurley. And he's been averaging 1,000 yards per season. Now, I think the only reason why the Chicago Bears, or any logical reason why they got rid of Jordan Howard, is because he's on a slow decline. Meaning that he started his rookie year with 1,100 yards, but then dropped down to 900 yards his last season with them. But still, he's a powerful back like LeGarrette Blount, and he is very young. I think he's only 23, 24 years old. So it's a really good deal. And we still have him on his rookie contract, so we don't have to pay him big at all. He only has 1 more year left on his rookie contract. So here's a small hype video of him real quick. Next, the guy that we got is good old Vinny Curry. We had him for 6 years until we got rid of him and he joined Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and where they cut him just after a year. We picked him up again, and you already know all about him, so I'm not even going to go that into it, but here's a small hype video just to make this video a little bit more exciting. Now, we got a safety from the Vikings. I have no idea how you pronounce his name, but his name is Andrew Sadadrill, I think it's pronounced. I mean, he's a half-decent safety. He's been floating around the league, starting with the Cowboys on the practice squad, but worked his way up to a starter with the Vikings. I mean, he's a half-decent safety. He's not the best in the world, but he definitely fits the system for the Eagles and most likely will be a backup on this Eagles team. But he's going to be a very strong backup, to say the very least. And he went into the league in 2010. So he is getting up there in age. He's still going to bring that veteran presence to the entire team. Now, here's a hype video on him. Now we got good old DeSean Jackson back. Our good old friend from way back. He hasn't been on the team for a very long time. It seems like forever now. I have many memories of him growing up, just starting to watch the Eagles, of the deep bombs that Donovan McNabb used to throw to him. And I just am so excited for this because he brings that deep threat presence, or he is that deep threat that teams all over the league fear. I know he's getting up there, but he's still very fast. And I'm very excited to have him because all of the good memories that I had of him with the old Eagles team when I was growing up is coming back. Carson Wentz is going to have a field day with DeSean Jackson because Carson Wentz has one of the strongest arms in the league and is going to be throwing it deep to Jackson all the time. He's going to more than likely get a few deep bombs this season just alone. our biggest free agency moves is that we got Malik Jackson from the Jaguars. He is a freaking beast. He matches up with Fletcher Cox. That's how big he is. He's 29 years old, and he still is relatively young. I mean, he's a beast, and I feel like he fits that role of Timmy Jernigan, or a replacement for Timmy Jernigan since we let him go. But Jackson is going to be a perfect fit on the defensive end. And he did really well at his time in the Jacksonville. And I'm really excited to see him play because he's going to just rip off all offensive lines around the league. He's going to be a great filler as well. And he's just going to make our defensive end that's been getting old lately, or getting up there in age, he's just going to bring that nice presence. And he's just going to move our defensive ends, or defensive line, and make it that much better. And finally, our last move in the free agency up to this point is TJ Fort from the Steelers. I mean, he's not that good of a linebacker, and he somewhat replaces Jordan Hicks, which I will get later into this video. We got him dirt cheap, 3 years for like $1.9 million with a crap ton of incentives. On the lower tier of linebackers, you don't really see his name around at all. But you know what? It's a good role to fill in for Jordan Hicks. Or I mean, at least somewhat of a good role. And I don't know. There's nothing really to say to it, is that he's just mediocre. A little bit worse than that. And there's not much to say. But it's a good fit for the Eagles to have like a backup and or potentially starter to kind of replace that Jordan Hicks role. Things that I want to go over in the free agency. I'm going to try to speak as little as possible. We are still interested in Duke Johnson from the Browns, even after we got Jordan Howard. We're more than likely not going to get Duke Johnson, but there has been contract talk with him. I would be excited to see where that goes in the next few days. And we have recently signed Richard Rodgers to a 2-year deal. He was injured all of last year and only played a few games, and he wasn't really excited. Or he didn't really make a difference. But still, he's a very good tight end, and he's a good third-string tight end to block and fill the roles, or to help out Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz a lot more, and he's very good. And I'm glad that we re-signed him because he didn't really get much of a chance being injured most of the year last year. We're looking into Kelly Green uniforms, not this year, but next year as our alternative. It's going to be a darker shade of Kelly Green. Jeffrey Lurie is looking into it after much request from fans and other people, and I'll be really excited to see the new Kelly Green uniforms if we do decide to do it in the next couple of years, because I didn't really grow up with that Kelly color way back when, and that'll be really cool to see, and it looks really cool. I'll try to find a picture of the new Kelly Green. It's like a little bit darker than the olden days, but it would be very cool to have it as an alternative when playing away and or at home. Now, Jay Ajayi, I have no idea what's going to happen with him. He was looking into going into the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts were looking to get him. But I think they just opt out. And I don't know if we're going to re-sign him or not. More than likely not, because of Jordan Howard, and we're trying to fill in that role with Duke Johnson if we do pick Duke Johnson up. But I don't know if the Eagles are going to re-sign him or not, but he's not doing too well in the free agency, probably because of his torn ACL, and he still needs time to recover from that. But I have no idea where he's going to land. The Eagles just aren't putting any information about. But the Colts did show some interest, but I don't think they got a deal finalized. Jeremy Maclin has officially retired. He retired about like a week or two ago. He had a really nice career with the Eagles, and I'm happy for him that he had a nice long career. And just enjoy your retirement, Jeremy Maclin, and thank you for everything that you've done for the Eagles when you were with us. The draft is coming close at the end of this month, and we're more than likely going to either get a running back, linebacker, and or a safety in the draft. I'm going to go into more detail as the closer we get into the draft, and I will do a draft update. So stay in tune for that. We've signed Ronald Darby to a 1-year deal. and we re-signed him, and I feel like this is an excellent move because he's still a very young cornerback, and he's one of the top cornerbacks that was entering into the free agency, and I'm very glad that we were able to pick him up again and re-sign him because he's fitting very well into the Eagles organization, and he's a really good cornerback, so I'm glad that the Eagles re-signed him. And it was for cheap too. I think it was like $8.9 million that we re-signed him for, so very good job. Sadly, Jordan Matthews is leaving us again to the 49ers. I was very sad the first time he left us. Now I'm equally as sad because I felt like he was a very good addition, and I was really happy that we would be bonding with Jordan Matthews again. And I was sad to see that it only lasted 1 year with us the second time around. I wish we would have kept him for a little bit longer. But I'm glad that he's going to the 49ers, and I hope the best to him, and the best of luck. Golden Tate signed with the frickin' Giants. I probably should have done a separate video because I have so much to talk about with frickin' Tate. This is just frickin' hysterical because he wanted to go to the Pats to win more championships, but yet he's went to the Giants, who's just... I don't even know what the Giants are doing. Heck, they got rid of Odell Beckham. I guess they're just getting rid of their best receiver and quarterback. I have no idea what the heck's happening with the Giants and where the heck they're going. I guess they're just going to replace the Browns' role as the worst team in the NFL, which I'm really happy to see because they're in our division. It's just going to be another cake rock, or beat them twice a year. It's just going to be another cake rock, and I don't know. And I have no words for the Giants. I'm just so confused. I mean, Golden Tate's a nice fit, but why would you trade away Odell? It makes no sense. Jordan Hicks has gone to the Cardinals. Now, I really like Jordan Hicks because he's very elusive, but I think he's just too injury prone. He couldn't stay healthy for longer than a year. And I think that's the main reason why we got rid of him and he went to the Cardinals. He just kept getting injured. It just seems like every year he'll just miss at least like half the year due to injury, and it was getting very annoying to see. I know he's a very good linebacker, but he's just too injury prone, and I think that's why we got rid of him. Sad to see him go, but we just need to somehow replace him. And we've signed Jason Peters to a 1-year extension. Now, I'm a little bit confused about this one because Jason Peters is getting up there. And he's still really good, and I'm excited that we re-signed him, but just a little confused because he's getting old and he's been getting a lot of injuries the past 2 years. And he's dealt with a crap ton of injuries, and he's just not been playing as well as he used to. And I thought he was going to retire this year, honestly, but glad we picked him up for another year, I guess. And finally, Bennett is going to the Patriots, or we trade him to the Patriots. I mean, we barely got anything for him. The Patriots got another steal for a defensive end. Bennett really helped us this year, and he got a crap ton of sacks, and I'm sad to see him go. Even though his age is getting up there, I wish we would have kept him and re-signed him for a couple more years because he was very good on the defensive end. And I'm just sad to see him go. I mean, he just kept having quarterback pressures after quarterback pressures after sack after sack. He's one of our best defensive ends last year, and I'm sad to see him go because he was a really big presence on the Eagles' defensive line. And I feel like we could have really used him. So this year has been rough on the defensive end. Temi Jernigan gone. Bennett gone, but I'm glad that we're replacing him and signing some of the older guys to new contracts on the defensive line, and we're still really good, and I'm not too worried about it. We're still going to crush everything. And that's it, and thanks for watching.